Well, wait, I have to
Down
put
to the first
records
hollow in the
on.
Sky Temple.
I didn't record this, so we have to go again. I'm so sorry. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are
Yeah,
you
my
ready?
body's ready for you, yada yada yada. You slack as a co-caster, blah blah. Okay, so we got this
Sky
through.
Temple, baby.
That's on the record now for the VOD later. Anyway, they're map drafting. It's Sky Temple, Well Met versus IMG, Imaginary Heroes, not friends. Even though I always keep saying that, ignore me. I'm stupid. Anyway,
You're
one
not
one.
stupid, man. Don't say that.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
need that kind of negativity in your life.
It's a best of three, guys. 1-1. Well, Met came back in the second game with a pretty convincing playstyle on Dragonchai, even though they had a tiny bit throw intention there, once at least. So, but IMG they couldn't capitalize on this too much. In the end,
Right.
we're gonna get a third game, which is nice because only one team out of the qualifiers is actually qualifying. So one day, one team. 12 qualifiers for 5,000 cup. And the third cup will then be 10,000. Remember also the top place teams of each cup, they automatically qualified for the next cup, which means we get more and more teams into this, and then there will be a massive blast, a massive big fat event for $10,000. And of course, a lot of hardware, and all of this is of course sponsored by Alienware and Rocket. No sellout here. I mentioned them because I like them.
Yep. Pretty cool stuff, man. All right, so we do have a couple of bands coming in here. We got the Illidan band from Well Met and the Lost Vikings band from Imaginary. I think these are both not that surprising. Like the Lost Vikings are really really strong because of their soak potential, and then on top of that, their boat just deals out damage like nothing else. And the Illidan band, he's hard to deal with sometimes. I mean, Blizzard insists that his win rate is actually not that impressive. But you know,
Well,
he
that
can be
is
really
because
difficult
he actually
to
has
overcome.
some sort of skill level that
Yeah.
is sort of required. I mean, I'm not saying he's hard to play or anything like that, because then everybody in the chat will jump me like, oh, Heflabok, you're so noob. But no, like, if you have bad Illidans, you notice it. Like, the time when you pop evasion, the way you jump,
Yeah.
the opportunities where you can jump, how you actually chain certain abilities, how you can actually also make this nice combination of body block and slow of your abilities. It's pretty important. So, good Illidans, you see the difference to bad
Yeah,
Illidans,
they definitely
obviously.
stand out.
Yep. So looking
right.
at it, we have the ladies draft again. So Jaina and Vala preferred by IMG, Savannah secured for Well Met. So now that the ladies are out, we're gonna get a guy. But who's the guy? It could be one of the tanks, or maybe early Uther secured. Even though Uther was ignored like in the last two games.
Yeah, and Uther, I don't know. It depends. Like, Uther is only going to be picked if there's someone like I think if there's someone really in particular to protect. I like the Anubarak pick though, and this is similar to what we've seen in the past few drafts. Anubarak's really strong right now. His beetles are now useful to have in a team fight. So seeing Anubarak's not too much of a surprise here. The follow up though is where I think we can start to see some divergence from what we've seen in the past games. Are they going to worry about mobility at all? Are we going to see like a Brightwing? Are we going to see a Falstad? Well, let's find out.
Yep, I mean the Anubarak today actually did quite a good job, I have to say. The web blast disabling like one target, I love it so far. It's pretty interesting. Like sometimes the web blast actually made a difference. We saw like once, for example, in game number 1, that rush on the throne where the DPS was web blasted. That made the difference in the fight. Besides, of course, some other tiny factors, but well, that's how effective this can be. What I like, of course, on the other side is, well, Met has now, I think, the better way to push, while IMG they have the better way to burst. Because look at this, Vala and Jaina, if they get a straight line of fire, then that is gonna hurt.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean that's definitely something that needs to be looked out for.
And a fast start as a third. Okay, I did not see this one coming, to be honest. It's Sky Temple, so I didn't think there's too much emphasis on global presence. And looking at the fast start games back, to be honest, I was never really impressed with the fast starts, but this is just me. Then again, I was so excited about the Tychus pick. It's just too bad they lost with the Tychus. Maybe then some other teams start picking him. To be honest, it wasn't too bad, especially when the Odin came out. The
Yeah,
damage of him was pretty impressive.
I think they just handled it really well. Like I think the Tychus number one is that once Odin is popped, you kind of already need to be in a hard engage because as soon as it's popped, the other team has the ability to just say, all right, we're not really that interested in engaging here anymore. We can actually back off until your Odin disappears. But on top of that, he just kind of got blown up really, really quickly every step of the way. He wasn't really ever, save maybe one fight, he was never really in a position to really do the extra damage that he needs. But I'm wondering if what Imaginary is going to do to respond to like this Falstad pick. I think they already have their damage. I mean, what else can they do? They can't go Illidan, which is something that they might be fond of. But I think they might go Muradin again. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go Muradin again.
Yeah, they feel comfortable with the Muradin. On Sky Temple, I still think on Sky Temple ETC is always nice because you have that option of the global presence. Just wait.
Yeah.
What happens in those fights. But then again, you saw the playstyle of Well Met. They're always looking to blow up one target within seconds, and then maybe your stage dive is coming after, you know. So you're stage diving on the big stage, but the show is already over. That is actually what might happen when you meet Well Met. So maybe that's the reason they don't go for it. But it's Ethereal again, okay.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit. I wonder if people just don't feel comfortable with ETC yet, like because he was reworked. You know, he's changed now. You don't take the same talents at all. People are like really going for power slide builds. Like, I think people might be like scared of using ETC in something that like matters a lot. And
but I mean, we have Tychus picks, for example. So what are they scared of? If you pick Tychus, you can also pick a new ETC.
Yeah, sure. I think that's a fair point. But
I'm so sorry that I destroyed your point right now.
No, it's fair.
Maybe they just don't consider it that strong anymore.
What's that?
Maybe they just don't consider him that strong anymore. Maybe the pros really agreed on the fact that like the other tanks, they're just superb now in comparison, and that even stage dive, for example, is something that could not, I know, sort of equalize it, like make it on par with the others. Then again, we already had one ETC today, and he did quite well. So I don't know. I didn't see much of a difference. His presence and fight was the same. The presence on the map. We even had a mosh pit ETC where the mosh pit actually was nicely utilized to either single out one target or just block the others off. So I don't know why we don't see it. But we still have, well, 4 picks to go. I'm not really sure what we see here. It's probably going to be a healer. And, yep, it's the Brightwing.
Yeah, I think Brightwing's fine. We talk about mobility every time Brightwing comes up because that's exactly what's going to be good here. We've seen Brightwing used in previous games, like to really ensure that a team tries to get an XP lead or at least keeps up with their opponent in XP, depending on what their team comp is like. But just having Brightwing able to stay in lanes for a little while longer to soak some extra XP before actually getting into a fight and only coming back to her team when there's some sort of engagement going on is really, really useful. But also it provides some ability to play games with what temple you're on once the temples do spawn on this map.
Yep.
But I'm loving seeing how carefully each team is considering their picks right now. Like, we're seeing both time pools almost completely drained at this point.
Dual tank strat is still an option, but I'm not sure. No, I don't think this is coming out here because Sylvanas, Falstad, is that enough damage? I don't think so. It could be a healer and Cigar, since Cigar is still not picked. And more into Hinterland Blast is a combination we saw earlier in was it in this series in game 1?
I don't know. No, it wasn't this series. Oh, maybe it was this series.
It's oh my god, it's actually a dual tank strat. So I was completely wrong. I really thought they don't go for it, but okay, that's interesting actually. I mean, a Muradin not doing too much damage there. Anubarak now, the new Anubarak is actually doing decent damage. Falstad and Sylvanas, I'm not really sure if that's really enough, and I think we're gonna see a Malfurion with it.
Yeah, I think
just for the sustained heal.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really, really valuable here. And dude, the Malfruits in the previous games were absolutely insane. Like, completely ruining engages with Malfruits, which is really, really cool. Yeah. They only have 6 seconds left. Oh, Rhaegar coming out instead, the Ancestral. I mean, when you have the 2 tank strat, if a tank is ever focused down at all, like, that Ancestral is incredibly, incredibly important. And it means that, you keep your damage alive a little longer, too.
Yep. By the way, check the lobby if they're already up, so we get everybody in time.
It's not currently up as far as I can tell.
They're so slacking today. But I hope they're not slacking with their 5th one. So what is it? In theory, they could also go for a dual tank strat, but there's only like what, Diablo ETC left. I
Yeah, I don't think we're
think.
gonna see Diablo. I mean, if they pick anybody, it's probably gonna be ETC. But oh, they grabbed the
Oh,
Malfurion, the double healer.
I don't understand. That's very crazy. I didn't see this one happening at
Full
all.
tank Tyrael as a front line
Is that maybe
against.
even a damaged ethereal? Don't we see Tranquility coming out? Or the other way around, that we have the Pride Wing going for a different ultimate? Because is this really enough? I mean, Jaina
Twilight Dream
Vala.
is really good. Twilight Dream is really, really good. And if they can use Twilight Dream to either stop Rhaegar's Ancestral from going off or like keep Hinterland Blast from going off, like if he goes Twilight Dream and they just let Brightwing heal, that could be beneficial. I'm really skeptical about the Tyrael tank though.
Yep, that's yeah. Because we had Tyrael today in all, like in what, in 3-4 games with a dual tank strat, and there he was fine because he was not the lone focus. But now he's the only frontliner. But then again, he has two healers, his own shields, etc.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess I can tell you how I feel after the game.
I'm excited to see what they do with it, man. If they can make this work, that'd be really, really awesome. And of course, it's going to put their opponents on a weird footing. They're going to have to change up their style because we haven't seen double support in double full support in quite a while. So I think that there's some potential here. I think this is going to be really interesting, especially in the game 3 of this qualifier. That's insane. Game 3 of the finals of this qualifier. They're going to pull out some crazy stuff.
Oh, and I think they do me a favor. Wait, well, Matt is on the left side. They're saying. So my, wait, let me swap into the right scene here. So if they change completely, then well, Matt is on the left side. I can also fix the score, which I can only do in this one. So there's their number 1. Well, Matt on the left, Imaginary on the right, and everything's all right. Cool story. I love it.
All right, so we're about to get into this game. I imagine. I don't think. I mean, last time we waited in this screen for like 10 minutes. I hope that doesn't happen again. I'm
You
ready to get into
imagine?
it. The hype is real. These guys are trying to get a qualifying spot in a $5,000 prize pool tournament. Some of the biggest money this scene is seeing right now. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
There's no better way to spend a Saturday, baby.
And of course, there's no better way to actually go into a final when it's 1-1. So we're pretty much back to the best of 1 format because this game is gonna decide it. And since you imagine, you already said you are pretty much like biased towards imaginary heroes.
Am I?
You said you imagine.
Oh. Yep. Confirmed.
Well met.
Confirmed biased caster.
Biased caster. Declined lobby invitation. Okay, it's a 4-on-5 situation, guys.
Yeah, I guess he's just dropping out. How do you say his name? How are you supposed to say his name? Arakian? Arakian?
Like, yeah, Arakeen. Like, let's just go with normal E's because there are actually E's with 2 dots in 2 languages, I think. But I'm not sure which one it is. So Arakeen is the official name now by me.
All right.
Oh, by the way, when I met the teams like Liquid, Gamers 2, etc. on the DreamHack, of the players like were in real life actually telling me how their names are pronounced, and you can't even imagine how far off we casters are most of the time. Like really, especially the Polish, Sucho for example. I don't know. I called him so many things, but never by, yeah.
A Ratkin? A Ratkin? Who knows? A Ratkin.
A rat king without the G at king. What? Arakin. Yeah. So Arakin. Yeah. I guess that's. We just go for it. And he's Yoi. Yoi, whatever that means. Or maybe it's just a yo with a Y. I don't know.
Oi.
We have it today with pronunciations, spelling, languages.
That is a tough day, man.
Yep.
This is a tough day as far as names are concerned.
Anyway, guys, we are here in the last game, so give us 3 more players and we are actually into this, and it's gonna be super exciting because the last 2 matches were really close, even though I guess the initiative were mostly on Well-Met's side in game number 2. But then again, with this little throw, there was like everybody was like, oh, hold me, baby, I don't know what's happening, you know, like the horror movie stuff.
Hold me, baby.
Hold me, baby. I don't know what's happening.
Sky Temple, Hefla Sky Temple.
Yep. like that's also even better because it could be cursed hollow, and I would be like, you know, the most excited caster of all times. But it's a sky temple, so it's cool. We have fancy lasers shooting out of Egyptian statues. What else can you ask for?
Man, get your friends in here. Hashtag Gosugamers if you're feeling ambitious. Let's get some hype about this match. This is big. I'm even gonna post it on my Facebook page.
Yep. And to be honest, you should also tweet Mr. Unctious SC because he comes from the StarCraft scene and he just never found the button to actually change his Twitter. So no, follow him because he's a relatively unknown caster, but to be honest, judging by today casting with me, maybe it's just my amazing personality, but I like you. So
hey,
maybe
man, I appreciate it. I like you too. I like you too, buddy.
Oh, it's all so fancy in here.
Alright, here we go.
Anyway, guys,
let's go ahead and introduce our teams.
Yeah, I'll let you first. Just choose a side.
Alright, on the left side of the map, it is well met. And on Falstad, we have Hasuab, Shadowmare on Rhaegar, Sport Billy on Anubarak, Sylvanas is going to be Servo Ult, and finally, last but not least, Sokka on Mirrodin.
Yep, and hiding behind the wall here top is Mr. Danatan, or Danatan, whatever you pronounce it. Arakin, that we figured that one out in the mid with Tyrael. On the right wing is Tokosan, is a lord of a Chinese castle somewhere. Then Q is his Japanese friend, and Mute. He's mute, I guess, for some reason, just in a different language, mute. So he's on the Vala.
Now, all right, so this is down in the bottom lane is the exact opposite of what you'd expect. Usually, you get some people trying to mess around with right wing. Oh, Falstad getting so low!
Oh, but they're not committing. I think he barrel rolls and was still in range for right clicks. I think they could have committed for those right clicks, but it didn't happen, so no first blood. But more interestingly, top lane, there's the Sylvanas power. That's why some of the teams today banned her. You just don't want to have this. 50% of the tower going down here within just 1 minute of the game, and the rotation is happening already. Jaina, Vala, already there. And you even saw the Anubarak just trying to impale them on the way of the rotation. Now, you have to see, is there even... Ah, no, again. Jaina is a bit delayed. I don't know if he lags, but it's the second time that, like, the nice little blizzard is failing a bit to hit the target. At least the initial one should hit, but it didn't happen in both ganks right now. Temples are spawning 1.5 minutes into the game. This is going to be interesting. At the moment, Muradin is just parking his big dwarf butt on that temple, but he has to, yeah, fold to go to the mid.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even really need to put that many people on this mid one. I don't think their opponents are really going to be rotating too much. Jaina and Malf up on this top tower, they're not rotating, so it's not going to be a huge deal. I mean, really, the biggest thing is that they want to make sure that they're soaking as much as possible. And Uberak actually getting a little bit low here, but Arakeen actually doing a really nice job of keeping on him. He's getting a little bit low himself. He's at about half health here. And it looked like Sylvanas actually, like, I don't know what her Banshee was about. That didn't really help anything at all.
That was just...
It didn't hit him. It was,
yeah.
I mean, maybe she was just preparing in case he was going to try to get away. We have a huge push, though, in the top lane here coming from Vala and Jaina.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't call it huge push, but, well, it did about 50% on that fort, but we have pretty much the same result in the mid, and oh my god, I didn't see this one happening. The Tyrael going down there. Nice finisher by the Rhaegar. I guess the Tyrael did not expect this one, and what a beautiful impale there. Just both the ladies just making a leap in the air, and then all the fun is over.
Yeah, and this middle tower is actually remarkably low. I mean, they're going to be able to save it for now, but at any moment, somebody can just kind of walk in, poke it down, and the whole thing's just going to crumble. Here comes Rhaegar. It looks like he's going to try to do it a little bit, and Sylvanas is really going to be able to take it out in a matter of moments. Like, it's no problem for her.
Oh, and I like... Look, I like what they do. They challenge those... ogres here, but Tyrael is coming in, but they're not blocking it. They want to focus the Rhaegar. I don't know if that's really the wise thing, but yeah, I guess going back was probably the smarter decision. Tyrael, second time in a row, he just freshly spawned and he's going back to his grave. That means they can probably finish off that fort here in the mid, giving them a nice advantage. But no, the fort is on like not worth to mention HP.
240 health left.
Yep.
Nothing. It has nothing. Just poke it. Just poke it. All right, so everyone's going to kind of back off. It looks like they're, I mean, in a few moments we'll see them go for their bruisers just to make sure that there's some pressure in the top lane to counteract the temples that are going to, the temple that's going to be spawning in the bottom lane. They can actually wait on this a little bit longer, I think, but that's not what we see them doing. I think the blue team might actually wait a little bit longer and try to get the pressure on closer to when the temple spawns.
Oh well, I mean. at least that fort gave them, like, yeah, a level advantage. The bruisers tried to equalize it a bit, but the problem is on the other side we have the bruisers already being done 4 minutes into the game. That means, yeah, it's pretty much standstill at this one level. Oh, Falstad, huge leap to the other siege giants, and that's really cool. I mean, having 2 mercs on the way to the enemy base while the temple is spawning, while potentially there is a fight breaking out, that's of course very, very interesting. Like, if they just stall some time around this temple, we even might have a fight the first time on a level 10 talent, but at the moment Bitewing is just soaking HP and the fight is already gone.
Oh, wow, Vala actually too far forward. Malfurion too far forward as well. He doesn't have an ult yet. He is only level 7. He is going to be able to get away. The healing is just too much. Brightwing doing a really nice job of keeping him alive here. Meanwhile, Arcane not really in position to as a front line. He's actually going to need to move on forward a little bit here if he wants to try to break through this, break through his opponent's front line. But it's level 8 to level 8 finally, and they're finally moving in here, but they're all stacked up, which means that Ballstat's going to be able to put out so much damage. Hasselhoff's getting very low. He's able to tumble out just in time, but Arcane's moving forward once again. So they are all pretty low, which means that this is going to be a red-controlled temple here. Hasselhoff needs to get out of there. He's rooted, though. Malfurion doing a really nice job of keeping him in place, and they're going to move on out. This is the fact that they're going to be able to take this temple is going to even them out on experience. They're going to be able to get a tower here, and that's going to be really, really nice for them.
Yep, definitely nice. I did not expect so much damage coming out of them, especially with the 2 tanks, but I think they focused on the right target, and also top, like, I didn't expect it, but the red mercenaries actually prevailed, and now they did so much damage on that fort already. I mean, it was on like 50%, and now it took another 25 off, so this fort is also just like a slightly touch of the wind and bad weather, and then it's all done.
So, where do we go from here? I mean, both teams are going to back off. There's no temples to fight over. The red team definitely doesn't want to immediately engage. Their opponents are a full level ahead on that level 10, and they can actually try to force engagement if they'd like. I've seen teams in this spot try to go for the boss, but that would be a little bit too risky right now. You don't want to underestimate your opponent. Even though they're a level down, they don't have their 10. That boss can still be a pretty big throw. I mean, they got to be really careful about that. But we do see some pressure down here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, a lot of pressure even, and they have to be careful because if they bait them out, then there are like ultimates flying back in their faces, and that's really the bad thing at the moment. And the push by Wellmet is so aggressive, but now we have almost a level 10 by Imaginary Friends, which means we have to see soon a fight. They have to stop this grind by Wellmet because the push is just too real. They just do too much damage. Bottom took about 50%, top, the tier 1 defense line is down. This is not going anywhere. If they just keep on going with this game, then it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we see them going. Sylvanas being able to shut down this tower is absolutely huge. All the mercs are taken. It's really just a waiting game right now. We do see level 10 finally striking for our red team, so they're going to be able to be a little bit more aggressive than they were before. They can get out on the map. Their opponents don't control everything here. And now this is their opportunity to kind of leverage themselves into a better position, find a foothold to push themselves in front of ahead of their opponents. For the time being, that's just going to mean soaking a little bit more, making sure that they're all healed up and in a good position for this temples that are activating now in 8 seconds.
By the way, look what we have on Anubarak. Like, he's really just going all YOLO on the Beatles. And you saw it in those fights. Sometimes you have like 5 or 6 of those little buggers on you. But oh, look, they scout them out. What a beautiful heal. The Ancestral is coming out, but Muradin really, really low. And they're still standing on it. Never mind there. There's the pushback and everything. Nice silence, nice wailing arrow, but not really doing too much damage. So in the end, oh, there's the judgment forward. They want to get that rigger, and he's actually going down. Also beautiful damage now on that Sylvanas. By the end, they have to go back. Hinterland Blast hits about 2 people, but still not enough HP to just follow up. They're gonna get those siege giants done before they even leave their own little home turf there, which means an easy tempo for them to follow up here.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to move down. I mean, the temples are going to be split here. No one came out hugely ahead in that fight, though it was a trade. Excuse me, though it was a 1-0 trade. So, I mean, that was interesting because I feel like it was like super, like it felt like it was going to be climactic in the game, but ultimately that wasn't a huge sway in one way or the other. And we're looking actually relatively close on experience, just about a half-level lead. For Wellmet here. Oh,
but they catch one out here. Brightwing, that's not the position you want to be in. Another 30 seconds for you to think about what you have done there. And they want to start the boss, but nope, that's a bad idea because there's a rotation in. And well, do they grab the already started boss? I don't think that's a wise choice because in 10 seconds the Brightwing could come in. Oh, Tyrael, yeah, there's the sword. But
Sylvanas there to follow up though, and she's going to keep on moving forward. Actually, no, getting completely rooted there. Tyrael's going to go down very quickly, and then they're just going to back off. They're picking up these kills with Tyrael gone. Their opponents have no tank. They are all squishies, which means that this boss is going to go straight over to Wellmet.
yeah, the boss. I mean, Sylvanas. By the way, I don't know if you guys know that, but the boss, when he does that, like for those who always like right click on a target and spam right click it, like it's so crazy because when he does that animation, he suddenly his hitbox shifts and you move accidentally forward directly into the AoE stomp. I don't know how often I did that, and Sylvanas did just the same thing. Anyway, they go for the bruises, but Anub, he scouted with the impale. Does he like rush in there? At the moment, he's just focusing on Pride Wing, just saying hello, and yeah, the bruises are already done. But a beautiful silence here, but the initiation is missing.
Yeah, and finally they are able to go in though. Falstad getting very low. Ancestral goes off on him, but he had already been healed up quite a bit. A beautiful hinterland blast, taking out Malfurion. That's a good amount of the healing, but Tyrael's back in the fight. He's able to move on forward. Oh, beautiful pick off on Muradin, and everyone's going to be in a full-on retreat. Nubarak Silence going to be able to get out of there, but it was not a great fight for Wellmet.
Yeah, I mean, actually a quite lucky fight again for Wellmet. That Sylvanas survived on, I don't know, not worth to mention HP again. It was so on the edge, and well, at least they get their bruises. They still have to do theirs, and they still sit on a level advantage. So nothing really changed, but of course that fight showed how fast it can go into the other direction.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be a really tense battle coming up here. Again, we're in Game 3 right now. All of the pressure is on these guys' shoulders in this game. Everything that led up to this, it doesn't even really matter at this point. If they lose this, they're out of the tournament, and their opponents are going to be qualified for a $5,000 tournament, and so they're going to be fighting hard here. So we do see a rotation down from Sylvanas. Going to go ahead and take these Giants as the whole team gets some pressure on this bottom lane, and they want to rotate down to this temple. They're okay picking a fight right now. Wellmet's okay picking a fight because their opponents are just a level behind.
Yep, and they go in that temple while the Pride Wing is actually trying to stop those mercenaries top. But what is happening here? Well,
Matt, going
straight
for a keep.
We don't care for temples. We just go for the direct thing. Nobody needs lasers to do that. We have Sylvanas. Nothing is shooting back anyway. So, yep, imaginary friends, they have to gather up. Just make it happen. The tier 3 defense line, towers at least, went down, and what's happening now? Just going with the mercs. Yeah, going with the mercs top.
Yeah, they have so much pressure down there. Their opponents have to respond to it. They're not even really comfortable leaving one person down on that temple. This is a beautiful tactical play. Let's force them to move back so that we can just go ahead and get the rest of the bullets off of there. And their opponents haven't even gotten half the bullets yet.
Oh, look at this. This is actually beautiful. Baiting the entire team to defend the base, and then just, flying onto the temple, claiming the, I don't know, majority of the shots here for themselves. But they're coming back. The problem is there's like a huge defense line. I don't think you should break into this.
They're down a talent. They're down a talent too, so they can't even really feel comfortable engaging here. They're just going to move back and say, well, I guess we just give that right up.
Yep. That's a lost temple, so that's mid-lost. Like, the bottom fort is gonna take huge damage. Also, top, the towers are lost. At least one of them. So yeah, their base is, yeah, again, the jar of cookies. Step by step, it's crumbling.
Well, that's just how the keep crumbles, I guess. But, alright, so moving forward, we do have one keep down, and there's only one fort down for Wellmet. They're in a really, really dominant position in this game. How much longer do we have till the boss comes up? About a minute and a half, and I mean, Wellmet's already a full talent tier ahead. They're gonna feel really, really comfortable moving about the map. They have almost complete control, and that's kind of not really where you want to be as a red team right now.
And if you look at the siege status, I mean, the one level at disadvantage the imaginary heroes have at the moment, it's really just, well, based on the siege damage. Like, there's still 2 forts to grab and on really low HP, but they never really got to it. Like, Wellmet is doing a good job, but Tyrael, that's not the position you want to be in there.
Oh, no. He was able to get out of there, but the huge silence goes down. He's going to be able to do some damage. Oh, that was very close. Rhaegar having to put Ancestral on himself, and it's a hard engage. Webrap doing a really nice job of keeping Brightwing still. And they're actually going to be able to pick him off as well. Beautiful hinterland blast, dealing damage to both Jaina and Malfurion, and there's no way they can take this fight.
Oh, well, it's a 2-for-1 trade. It's actually less of a disaster than I thought, to be honest. But
Yeah, I thought they were going to keep moving forward on it.
yeah, I really thought like, well, Matt is gonna crap it, but like even with the silence on 4 people, the web blast on 1, and the Tyrael being blown up, Imaginary Heroes, they still had a nice fight, but it really came down to the position of Tyrael. I don't know what he did there so far away from his team, but it just didn't happen. And now they crap the Bruisers top, Siege bottom for well met, and 2 new temples, and pretty much everybody will be alive for those temples. They spawn in 15, and the highest respawn timer is on the Murden with 9 seconds. So it's at the moment Bruisers versus the 2 Siege camps, and let's see. They're just scouting a tiny bit for the boss. But yeah, the boss is also something we can grab up. Oh, but Malfurion! What you doing there?
Caught out. Oh, huge judgment goes down to try to keep Malfurion alive, and it is successful. And Rhaegar has to ancestral himself, which is never really what you want to do as Rhaegar. You're trying to keep your damage alive as long as possible, and he was forced to blow his ult there.
I think they should fight now. I really think they should fight because they have a nice amount of ultimates still available. 10 seconds for the Malfurion to get the big tranquility off here, but no web blast. No, nothing. So if now, then if ever, then now. Not the other way around.
Yeah, Tyrael getting stunned once again. Is he going to be able to get out of there? Yeah, he cues on forward, but Anubarak moving in for it. A really good silence from Sylvanas there. And Brightwing finally making it into the battle, but he's just a little too late. And now it's 4-on-5, and these 2 temples are up.
And look, bottom.
Fall so quickly.
Look, bottom. There's so much damage at the moment, even coming on the core and the key with those. Oh, this is so bad news. And there comes the mobility by the Falstad. He's claiming top as well, getting a lot of shots off, which means mid is going down for sure. Top, well, it starts with the tower, but I think that fort is also going to take huge damage. At the same time, they also grab a lot of experience. They can defend top, those bruisers who actually made it finally through that fort top. But yeah, they will end up being level 20 in the next 20, 30 seconds, something like that. Maybe they're gonna grab here that Falstad. That would be a nice kill, but there is no one to initiate. There's just no one to initiate. That slow on Vala is not gonna be enough. There's the Ancestral Healing, and now there's a turnaround. Huge damage incoming, but nice roots.
Yeah, it was a really good route from Malfurion, just keeping the engage away, but Meriden moving in. He wants to do as hard of an engage as possible. Malfurion's going to get killed, and a web wrap going down as well. Who's going to pop out of here? Oh, it's Brightwing, and Brightwing doesn't live at all. Wellmet is perfectly positioned to take this game. They're going to be able to kill off their opponents. Their opponents in a full retreat now. There are no keeps left, and there's pressure on every single one of these lanes. This core is so vulnerable right now.
Yep, I mean, the core is still going to get, like, what, that's 20 shots or something like that, 15, 18 shots, something like that. That's enough to get the shield off, as well as, like, what, maybe 5%, 10%, something like that. But the worst thing, of course, is they can do the boss. 16 minutes into the game, they can finally do the boss. And also top, we have bruisers coming in. It's not the worst thing, the core is going to take care of it, but the core has no shield. Anyway, they scouted the boss, but it's too late.
Oh, here comes Vala trying to do some damage, not going to be able to do enough. Oh my god, that Falstad ult was so close to taking Vala out, but it's not enough. Vala falls anyway. It's now 5 on 3 people remaining, and that's going to be it. They're going to be able to push with this boss and do all the necessary damage to take this core out. It's got almost no shields left. The bruisers are pushing in as well. This is pretty much as bad of a situation as anybody can be in. Web wrap going down as well. They just can't catch a break. That's going to be the game here. Well met, actually gonna take game 3. Haswab's getting surprisingly low, though, which is great. It's going to delay things just a little bit, but the boss is pounding away at the core. Malfurion getting stunned by the boss as well. Sport Billy doing what he can to add a little bit of damage.
GG.
Core now at 50%, and that's going to be game well met. Taking game number 3. They're going to be the champions in this qualifier, and they're going to move on to have a try at $5,000 in prizes in a tournament coming up in just a matter of weeks.
And I have to say, I mean, first of all, congratulations to Imaginary Heroes. They did actually a good show, to be honest. Like, for a team that came out of nowhere into the qualifiers, I think they did a good job. But of course, even more congratulations to Wellmet. They go to cup number 2, the 5,000 for the crabs, plus the hardware by Alienware and Rockhead. And of course, you have to also mention the history a bit of Wellmet there, because it's not the first time they actually try to get in here. They were quite often in qualifiers, and it's the first time they actually rush through and nobody beats them on the way. And they didn't have a lucky seeding or anything. They met like team reviews, for example, on the way. So these are all teams where you really have to play well. But I think they were well prepared and everything.
Yeah, I think it was a really impressive tournament all around. A really great showing. So when's the next tournament? Is this a weekly
tomorrow?
qualifier?
tomorrow, same time as today, 16 CEST is qualifier number 8. Every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So guys,
Wow.
tomorrow tune in, follow this channel, and of course if you like the casters, or no, actually don't follow me, I'm a scrub, but follow Unctious SC. He's actually a good caster, I like him, he's hyped, he really, does a good job and was very forthcoming today, helped me with everything. So follow him.
Got you, Hefla. Definitely follow Hefla too. He's making this thing a reality, so he's worth having around.
Anyway, that being said, so congratulations to Matt. Congratulations to the viewers actually having a nice best of 3 times close games, and well, see you tomorrow, 16 CEST. I'm not sure which casters are on. Maybe Sham2 is better tomorrow. Today he was sick, that's why I'm taking over for him. But yeah, we're gonna find that out over the European night for you, the afternoonish, evening sort of time zone. Anyway guys, see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.